Hi there, it's Jeannie, and today I'm sharing my last Christmas card for the year. I'm using Hello Bluebird North Pole Littles, and I know this is going to be very last minute, but if you're looking for ideas still, I think this stamp set creates a very simple Christmas card with a lot of things happening. So I'm pulling out all the images that I want to use and placing it into my MISTI. I'll be stamping using Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I stamp it a couple of times just because my ink pad does need re-inking, and I just have been too busy making cards and other things that I just haven't had the time. So I just suck it up and I stamp a couple of times. For one of the reindeer images, I'm actually going to stamp it an additional 2 times, and those are going to be the reindeers that will be in the sky with Santa, and I'll have a scene down below. So this is a very full card. This stamp set has small images, but I think it works really well for a full scene. So I think you're getting a good bang for your buck with this stamp set. So I do have a scan and cut, so I do run these images through my scan and cut machine, and I like the images right on the edges. And whenever I use my scan and cut for my cutting, I do round the edges with a Memento Tuxedo black marker, just so there's no white space peeking through. I think that really finishes off the images, but it's up to you. If you don't want to do it, it's definitely not necessary to do so, but I think it does finish off the image. So you'll see me coloring Santa and Mrs. Claus, and I'll be coloring Santa a second time because I accidentally colored a white portion of his suit in black, and I could have left it and just had it be the belt for the suit, but it bugged me enough where I just had to stamp out another one and cut out another one. It's no big deal, and you probably wouldn't have noticed, but it bothered me, and I'm just including it. So I'm going to be playing a little bit of music while I color. For all the Copics that I'm using, it will be listed down below. And all the coloring is pretty simple because these images are pretty small. I think the largest area is the sleigh and the red, so I spent a little bit more time coloring there. But I'll be back when I finish coloring. now that I have all my images ready, I'm working on the background. And for the background, I'm using a piece of Bristol Smooth paper and I'll be using distressings on it. And I want it to be a nighttime sky. So I grabbed about 3 colors of blues and 1 black. So I start off with Stormy Sky, then move to Faded Jeans, and then to Chip Sapphire. And I run the colors across the back of the paper a few times just to make sure it's blended. And then I add a little black around the edges. So it's very simple. And for the sky, I wanted to add a little bit of snow. And I only have this confetti stencil from Studio Katia. And I'm using it alongside Simon Says white pigment ink and using like a brush to do this. It's very light and the distressing kind of picks up on the color, but I wanted it subtle anyway. So as you can see, I'm putting together the scene, but I also wanted to add a couple of snowbanks. So I grabbed My Favorite Things snowdrifts and I cut it out on white piece of paper. And I end up using only one of the snowbanks. I'm using the top and bottom portion of it and it worked out perfectly. The second one had too many ups and downs that I just didn't want to include it. And I just wanted to keep it very simple, and I add a little distress ink on the edges using shaded lilac. So that's basically it for this card. Once I decide where I want to put everything, I'll adhere the 2 snowbanks down. And for the rest of the images, I'm using Tombow Monomote glue just to glue everything down. It's a very simple card once you finish coloring everything up. Create the background really quickly and put it all together. And I really like how the reindeers are in the sky, and I could have added a little string because to hold them all together, but you know what? Santa's magical and he doesn't need that to hold the reindeers, and the reindeers can help pull the sleigh just magically. So I'm using a pair of tweezers just to help me hold the stamp image while I add glue to it. And I put very little on it because I use distress ink for the background. I don't want the glue smearing on it and it'll pick up the color. So I'm very careful in doing so. But some of these portions are really small, so I don't put very much glue on it. And because this adhesive is really strong, you just need very little for it to stick. And once I have everything in place, I'm going to add the sentiment. It says Jingle All the Way. I'm using one of the misty corners just to help me straighten that sentiment out. And once I stamp it where it's dark enough, my card is done. This is a pretty simple card, and all the little images really fill up the scene and make it complete. So I hope you enjoyed today's card, and I hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and spend time with your families. I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye.